A very good evening to all of you. Hope you all are fine and safe in your home. Stay home and stay safe. As in the previous video, we have already discussed about the first classification of the chromatographic technique. In this, the second classification is on the basis of chromatographic bed shape, and in it the first one is the TLC, that is the thin layer chromatography technique, for the separation of the components from the mixture or the sample provided, or the sample which we have prepared. So here, as you can see here, the things which we required for this separation technique to be achieved are the beaker, the solvent which we will put as the mobile phase, and the spot of the mixture, which I will tell you in further in the slides. This thin layer chromatographic plate, very necessary, the base of the technique. The watch glass to cover the beaker, the column, so that to achieve the equilibrium, and the pencil line, the base line through which we will observe the changes in the technique. Okay, so this thin layer chromatography, how we will do. So here this you can see that it is a beaker type in the right hand side, and then the left hand side the TLC plate is there. First, what we have to do here is actually this technique has been used to to separate the non-volatile mixtures. Okay, after sample has been applied on the plate, which you can see here, the TLC plate, a solvent or solvent mixture known as the mobile phase is drawn up the plate via capillary action. So the principle of separation through adsorption type. Okay, here the principle is adsorption type. The separation relies on the relative empathy of the compounds towards the mobile phase and the stationary phase. So here what we will do is, the plate is a sheet of glass or metal or any plastic. The TLC plate which is used in this technique can be of glass, metal and plastic, which is coated with a thin layer of solid adsorbent. Okay, the adsorbent in which the substance will get adsorbed. Okay, so solid adsorbent thin layer is coated in it in the TLC plate, that can be of silica or aluminium. Okay, this TLC plate you can buy from the market, or you can also make it in the laboratory. A small amount of sample mixture which is to be analyzed is spotted near the bottom in the TLC plate at the bottom. Okay, then the TLC plate is, when the TLC plate is prepared, when we put the sample in the TLC plate, then it is placed in a shallow pool of solvent in a developing chamber, that is the beaker or any column in which we are doing the technique, so that only the very bottom of the plate is in the liquid. Means we have to put the TLC plate in the beaker which is having the solvent or the column in which we are having this technique in such a way that the thin layer plate, the plate should be placed just means at the very bottom of it, so that in such a way that it should, the spot which we have put, the drop which we have put of the solvent, okay, the solvent through which we have wanted the component to be separated, should not mix with the solvent. We should keep it above to the solvent, so that it will not mix to the solvent. Okay, so if that drop of sample will get mixed with the solvent, then our whole technique will get hampered, our whole experiment will get damaged. Okay, so what happens then, as that solvent moves past the spot that was applied, an equilibrium is established for each component of mixtures between the molecules of the component which are absorbed on solid and the molecules which are in the solution. Means after some time, when the solvent will move up with the capillary action towards the TLC plate which is kept inside the beaker in which solvent is already there, then that solvent takes the mixture component upside of the plate, and from there we can see the different components. Okay, this which I am telling you, this you have often seen, which I have already discussed about in paper chromatography, that if you will put any ink dissolved in water in a piece of paper, okay, then you can see that water with the capillary action takes the ink upside of the to the page, and you can see the different colors in that single ink. Like if the ink is of blue color, then you can see the different colors in that ink, like light purple type you can see the colors. So this is the idea is that a single one ink is made up of the different colors, which we cannot see until we do its separation technique to see that ink or the sample is made up of how many things, okay, how many components. So if the compounds, when the solvent has reached the top of the plate, okay, means when with the help of capillary action, when the solvent will reach up to the top of the TLC plate, then it is removed from the developing chamber, it is dried, and then it is separated. The separated component of the mixture can be visualized, okay. If the components are colored, then the visualization is straightforward, but usually the components which are in the TLC plate, which we can see after this solvent when it moves with the capillary action, so that compounds are not colored, usually they are not colored. So with the UV lamp we used to visualize the plates, and the plates itself contain the fluorescent dye which glows everywhere except where an organic compound is on the plate. So and the silica which we use, the silica gel which we used, which we coat in the TLC plate, is polar adsorbent, and it being slightly acidic in nature, it has powerful capacity to absorb the basic contents that may be present in material that needs separation or purification, okay. It is used for the optimization of the solvent system and determination of the number of component in a mixture, okay. To monitor the progress of a reaction, it has been used. So now the second is the paper chromatography. So paper chromatography, as I have see what I have told you just about the TLC, same as the paper chromatography. The only difference is in paper chromatography is that here we will use the stationary phase as the paper, and there we are using the TLC plates which can be brought from the market or can be can be prepared in the laboratory. So what we do in this paper chromatography is, first of all, this paper chromatography technique is what it is used to separate and identify the components which we wanted to do, okay. It is having the process it is a technique in which we use the specially designed filter paper or the strips as the adsorbent, okay. Here the stationary phase is the paper, and it is made here the stationary phase is means being adsorbent through with the solution is made to pass, okay, through the this here the paper, which is the stationary phase, through this a solution is made to pass. So this process in which through a stationary phase a solution, that is a solvent, that is a mobile phase which is used to pass through it, it is called as paper chromatography. The purpose of this is to separate the molecules on the basis of size, charge, polarity and solubility. This what we do in paper chromatography is, in paper chromatography the stationary phase which we will select now, that stationary phase, that is the paper. There are different types of paper, so this should be separated according to the solvent characteristics which we are having. Suppose if the solvent, the mobile phase, we are having polar, so the non-polar type of stationary phase, that is the paper, we have to choose, so that the characteristics should be different. If the characteristics of the mobile phase and stationary phase would be same, then they will make the then they will make bond. For example, if the solvent is hydrophobic, then the paper must be hydrophilic. Otherwise, if paper would be hydrophobic, then they will form the hydrophobic bond, and the damaged technique will got damaged, the experiment will be hampered, okay. So here the thing which we have to keep in mind is the selection of the stationary phase. So then the next is the column chromatography. So this column chromatography is a type of is a technique in which we use to separate a single chemical component from a mixture dissolved in a fluid. The principle here is the adsorption of solutes through a stationary phase and separates the mixture into the individual components. This is based on the affinity towards the mobile phase and the stationary phase. This is a preparative technique Okay, purify the components depending on their polarity or the hydrophobicity. So here the solvent which we will use, the mobile phase can be the hexane, okay, or a substitute such as petroleum, either, or cyclohexane. Okay, so here the stationary phase is like it is a in this, what we will do is, here a stationary phase is made wet with the help of the solvent, as the upper level of the mobile phase and the stationary phase should match. Okay, in the first step, the compound mixture that needs to be separated. Okay, in the column we will add the compound mixture, the sample which we want to be separated from the top of the column, but without disturbing the top level. So this step is then the in the lower side of the stationary phase is written. See, in the lower side there is one tab. Then after adding the solvent, the sample mixture into the column, then we have to turn on the tap, and the adsorption process on the surface of silica will begins. Then without disturbing the stationary phase, when we will add, see what we will up to here, what I have told you is, first of all we have to add the sample inside the column without disturbing the top layer. Then the tap is turned on. This will initiate the movement of compounds in the mixture. Movement is based on the polarity of the molecules in the sample. For example, a compound mixture consists of 3 different compounds: red, blue and green. Then order will be based on the polarity, as the polarity of the 3 molecules. Okay, so as the polarity of the, suppose the polarity of the green compound is less, it will move fast. Okay, it will move fast. When it arrives at the end of the column, it is collected in a clean test tube. After this, the red compound is collected, and at last the blue compound is collected. So all these are collected in the separate test tube. So what I wanted to say is, the column chromatography is a technique in which the component in the mixture which is having more affinity towards the stationary phase, we will adsorb to the stationary phase, and the other which you are having no any interaction with the stationary phase will move faster and will be collected first in the test tube. Means the component which is having more affinity towards the solvent phase, we will elute faster and first. Then on the basis of the physical state of mobile phase, the first is the liquid chromatography. So what we will do here is, here the mixture which is to be separated is loaded in the column. Okay, and through the help of the pump, from the solvent reservoir, the mixture is pumped to the column, and with the flow of the means at the different rates, the column the mixture will go, and here the different components in the sample mixture will pass through the column at different rates due to the difference in their partitioning behavior. Means the interaction between the mobile phase and the stationary phase, and the compounds are separated here by collecting a liquids of the column equivalent as a function of time. Means the mixture to be separated here is pumped onto, and it is loaded to the top of the column, and where the more solvent is followed through the injector. Okay, then what happens here is, after when the sample is being loaded in the column, then the components will be detected by the detector, and we will observe some peaks that we can see in the chromatogram. So here in liquid chromatography, the most commonly used preparative scale work for the purification and for the isolation of the components. Okay, then the gas chromatography. So here in gas chromatography, the components of the sample are dissolved in a solvent, and it is vaporized in order to separate the analytes by disturbing the sample. Means what we will do here is, here a sample is injected to the column. The column itself is having the stationary phase which is absorbed on the surface of an inert solid, and when the sample is being injected into the column, then first the sample which is injected in the column should be vaporized. Okay, after it is vaporized, it is injected into the chromatographic column. The column is having its stationary bed, then the interaction will be there. Means gas chromatography will be means here the principle is what, that the components which is having more affinity towards the stationary phase will get absorbed in the stationary phase, while other which is having the more affinity towards the mobile phase will elute first. Okay, so here the same process. After this the detector will detect. Okay, the detector will detect, and means the signals can the peaks we can see in the chromatogram. Here actually the gas is the mobile phase, and the stationary phase can be solid or liquid. And the principle here is what I have explained, that the interaction of the component with the stationary phase and the mobile phase. Here the sample to be separated is converted into vapor, and then it is mixed with the gaseous mobile phase. Okay, the components which is more soluble in stationary phase will travel slower as compared to the other which is less soluble. Then components are separated according to their partition coefficient, and the criteria for compounds to be analyzed by gas chromatography is volatility and thermostability. And it works what here what happens, that number of components in the sample is determined by the number of peaks. Okay, how many peaks you will observe, that responds to the number of components, and the amount of given components in the sample is determined by the area under the peaks. Okay, then here the we can identify the components by the retention time. Like here the carrier gas which we will use is the hydrogen, helium, nitrogen. The hydrogen is having the better thermal conductivity, and the disadvantage of hydrogen is it reacts with unsaturated compounds and it is inflammable. Then helium is excellent. Okay, excellent carrier gas for this. It is having the small conductivity and it is expensive. Nitrogen is having reduced sensitivity. It is less expensive. Okay, it is not that much expensive. Then what are the requirements for a carrier gas to have a successful gas chromatography technique? So it is there are 5 requirements. First, it should be cheap, it should be inertness, then suitable for the detector, it should have high purity, and it should easily available. Then there are 2 types of gas chromatography, the gas liquid chromatography and the gas solid chromatography. So the gas liquid chromatography is the commonly used method for the lipid analysis, and it is used to separate and identify the components of chemical compounds using a gaseous mobile phase. Okay, so here the principle is it runs on the principle of partition. Okay, the components of vaporized samples are fractionated due to the partition between a gaseous mobile phase and the liquid stationary phase held in the column. Means the stationary phase here is liquid which is in the column, and the gaseous phase is the mobile phase. Obviously the stationary phase is non-volatile liquid. It is held as a thin layer on the solid support like diatomeous earth. Okay, here the carrier gas is the means here the mobile phase can be the inert gas, helium or hydrogen. Okay, then here the small quantities of the sample. Okay, the small quantity of sample here is injected into the machine using the small syringe. Then the syringe needle passes through a thick rubber disc which results again when the syringe is pulled out. Then the injector is contained in an oven whose temperature can be controlled. It is hot enough so that all the sample boils and is carried into column as a gas by helium or other carrier gases. And here in yes, here when the after that the same process the detector will detect and we can observe the peaks. See here in this separation of different compounds, hence it is carried out between liquid stationary phase and gaseous mobile phase. Then the gas solid chromatography. So this is used for the separation of the inorganic gases. Okay, so and hydrocarbons such as the water, formaldehyde and the hydrogen sulfide. It is less volatile compounds can be used. Less volatile compounds cannot be disturbed efficiently at acceptable temperatures here. Then the separate mixture of hydrogen. It can separate the mixture of hydrogen isotopes, isomers, proteins. Okay, so what is the application like here application of this is that here we will can do the control, means see, not application. Here what we will study is the gas solid chromatography is based on the adsorption, means on the basis of the interaction of the adsorbent and the adsorbate. Okay, here in the gas solid chromatography, the mobile phase is gas and the stationary phase is solid. Okay, so here the gas solid chromatography is performed with the packed and open tubular columns. There are two types of columns, the packed and the open one. Okay, so the often the open tubular column, which is a thin layer of the adsorbent, is affixed in the inner layer of the capillary, and they are sometimes called as polar layer open tubular columns. The function is the same, only only less difference is there as compared to gas liquid chromatography. So then we will jump to the supercritical fluid chromatography. So what super liquid chromatography is, here the supercritical fluid is a phase of material at the critical temperature and the pressure of the material. Okay, here it is used for the analysis and the purification of the low to moderate molecular weight. Okay, here what happens in the supercritical chromatography technique is, here the discovery of supercritical fluids led to the novel analytical applications in the field of chromatography and extraction. Okay, so it is supercritical fluid chromatography. So super fluid chromatography has a similar setup as HPLC, which we will talk in the upcoming slides. However, there are some differences. The temperature is critical for the supercritical fluids, so there should be a heat control tool in the system. Okay, in the super critical fluid, here as you can see, there is a temperature control is there, heat control. Okay, the column is inside the oven, then the sample is injected through the syringe pump. Okay, then the restrictor will restrict some which is not been allowed it to be detected, then the detector will detect, then the microprocessor control is there for the further proper functioning of the system. Then then the display board is there, where you can see the peaks. The microprocessor mechanism is placed in the instrument so that the unit will collect the data for the pressure, means the microprocessor mechanism is there, then the one unit is there which unit will collect the data for the pressure, oven temperature, and the detector will perform to performance is to control the related pieces of the instrument. Okay, then the affinity chromatography. So what is this affinity chromatography? Here there is interaction of the ligand and the proteins. The ligand is attached to the solid support to form a specific adsorbent, to which the biological system, usually in the form of a homogeneate or the extract containing the molecular species of interest, is exposed. In affinity chromatography, the means it is based on the principle where there is the separation of the biochemical mixture happens, which is based on a highly specific interaction between the antigen and the antibody, enzyme, substrate, receptor, and the ligand, or the protein and the nucleic acid. Here we inject a sample into an initially equilibrated affinity chromatography column, and only the substance which is having the affinity for the ligand are retained in the column, and the other substance which is having no affinity for the ligand are eluted from the column. So here the ligand is an ion or molecule that binds to a to any metal, to any substance, to form a coordination complex. And this affinity chromatography is used to purify and concentrate a substance from a mixture into a buffering solution. It will reduce the amount of unwanted substance in a mixture, identify the biological compounds binding to a particular substance, and purify and concentrate an enzyme solution. It mainly separates proteins on the basis of the interaction between the proteins and the ligands. As you can see here, first the affinity ligands are covalently attached to the chromatography support, which is packed in a column, and the sample is followed through the affinity column in the binding buffer. Here the target molecules will bind to the affinity ligand, and the sample is washed through the column. Then the elution buffer is applied, and the purified target molecules is eluted from the column. Here means the sample which we will add in the column which is having the ligands as the stationary phase, the stationary phase which is having the ligands will absorb, will bind, will bind to the and the molecules which are there, suppose the protein molecules which are there in the solvent, and those which will having the interaction more to with the solvent, that will elute first. Then the high performance liquid chromatography. So what we do in this high performance liquid chromatography is that here the means it is a highly improved form of column chromatography, and here a pump forces a solvent through a column under high pressure up to 400 atmosphere. The column packing material or the adsorbent is typically a granular material which is made up of solid particles such as the silica or polymers. This column adsorbent material, or it is called as also stationary phase. The pressure, the force through the pump makes the technique much faster compared to the column chromatography. The sample is first dissolved in the solution. The solution is injected into the column, okay, which is having the resins that will interact with the sample molecules, and this will slow down the movement of sample through the column, and as the samples comes down the other side of the column, it is detected, and this allows us to know about both the time, means it will allow us to know about the time at which the sample comes out and also the intensity of the sample that was detected. This allows using much smaller particles for the column packing material. The pressurized liquid is typically a mixture of solvents such as water, nitrite and or methanol, and is referred to as mobile phase. The components of a mixtures are separated from each other due to their different degrees of interaction with the adsorbent particles. This causes different elution rates for the different components and leads to the separation of components as they flow out column. Compared to the column chromatography, it is the means due to the pressure the technique is much faster. Then there are two types of reverse phase is there, and the normal phase is there for the high pressure liquid chromatography. In reverse phase, the column size is the same. The column is filled with the silica particles which are modified to make them non-polar. This is done by attaching long hydrocarbon chains to its surface. A polar solvent mixture of water, alcohol, methanol, polar compound in mixture pass more quickly through the column because a strong attraction is there, okay, which occurs between the polar solvent and the polar molecules in the mixture. Then normal phase column, here the column is filled with the tiny silica particles and a non-polar solvent. For the example hexane, non-polar compounds in the mixture will pass more quickly through the column, as polar compounds will stick longer to the polar silica than non-polar compounds will. Then the gas chromatography mass spectrometry and the liquid chromatography mass spectrometry. So what the gas chromatography mass spectrometry is, here I will not go much detail in this, only a small introduction of the both the topics is that here in gas chromatography mass spectrometry, it is an analytical method that combine the features of both gas chromatography and the mass spectrometry. Okay, so what's the work of this is GCMS we can call it as. So it works on the principle that a mixture will separate into individual substances when heated. As separated substances emerge from the column opening, they flow into the mass spectrometry, and this mass spectrometry will identify the compounds by the mass of analyte molecules. Okay, so here the sample is injected into the inlet where it is vaporized onto the chromatography column. It is then swept by the carrier gas. The carrier gas is usually the helium, which is the excellent one. Then the sample flows through the column, and the compounds comprising the mixture of interest which we wanted to be separated by the interaction of the coating of the column, that is the stationary phase, and the carrier gas, that is the mobile phase. The later part of the column will pass through a heated transfer line and ends at the entrance to the ion source, where the compounds eluting from the column are converted to ions. Then the liquid chromatography, here the individual components in a mixture are first separated, followed by the ionization and the separation of ions are on the basis of their mass per charge ratio. Then the application of this chromatography is, it is used for the application of the chromatography, as this video is the third part of chromatography topic, which I have already uploaded the two videos regarding it. So the application of this chromatography is, it is used for the separation and the analysis and purification of various substances. Okay, it is been used by the police officers for the and the other detectives to solve a crime. It is used to determine the presence of cocaine in urine, alcohol in blood, PCBs in a fish, and lead in a water. It is used for the bioassay of antibiotics and hormones. The recent development in the chromatography, as you can read through these slides. The conclusion is that the chromatography is the mostly used that type of technique in the laboratory which separates the components from the mixture. Okay, then having many types and the proper mechanism on the basis of the different categories as the biotechnologies wanted, it helps to separate the mixture. It is used for the separation of small and large biomolecules, and here the selecting of paper in the paper chromatography should have different characteristics should be there. Means fourth point is not that much clear. I will explain you here. What I wanted to explain is the selection of the stationary phase, that is a type of paper, filter paper or any other type of paper used for the technique should be selected in a proper way, as keeping in mind the characteristics of the solvent, the mobile phase. The rule is that both the stationary phase, that is the paper, filter paper, and the solvent, that is the mobile phase, should be different. The characteristics should be different so that the technique so that they will not form any bond, and the molecules of both the phases will not form any bond, and the technique will not be get hampered or damaged. So thank you all for watching this. We will meet in the other videos with some other great topics of the science. So stay tuned. Thank you.